Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 21. It's crazy, it's been 21 weeks. Proud we made it here. As I always say, continue to share, continue to subscribe. Any questions or comments that you have, drop a comment below and we'll definitely get to it in the next episode. I know 3 weeks ago when I came out with episode 20, talking about the bear market, how things were going, as I was seeing as far as the market slowing down, things like that. This week, I wanted to really focus on that infrastructure bill, which I know I have a whole, episode on infrastructure bill. But I wanted to, reiterate that since this week, the infrastructure bill is supposed to be passed as far as the $1 trillion bipartisan package. So that's what I want to focus on this episode, just to get you all, in the loop on far as, some of the stocks that surrounding that, some of the stocks to keep your eye out on. Because this week, that's what the market is pretty much going to be centered around. All eyes are on that vote for that $1 trillion package, as well as the $3 trillion package as well. I know a lot of people are, looking into that, wanting to see if that's going to be passed as well. Because, earlier, a lot of Democrats were talking about, hey, we want that bill included. If it's not included, then we're not going to consider the bipartisan package for $1 trillion. So that was something that was big. A lot of people was looking at that, like, okay, like if that's not passed, then we know this bill is going to get passed. But it looks like, this passed earlier today or on Sunday. There was chatter regarding the $1 trillion vote and what was going to happen this week. It was supposed to come on Monday, but it looks like, it potentially won't come on Monday now, but it is going to come sometime next week. So that just means that the market is going to be very volatile next week in my mind, because with that, that lingering effect, people wondering, is it going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? What are we going to know? When are we going to know when this package is going to get passed? And also, what stocks are going to rise and what stocks are going to fall due to this package being passed? For me, when you look inside this package and you look at the meat and the bones of it, and you look at some of the things, it's a wide variety of things that's going to, play a big major role into this package, right? So when you're looking at, the EV field, or you're looking at broadband, or you're looking at clean energy, things like that, a lot of things are going to play a big major role in that. So you're going to see a lot of stocks, like I said, catapult or go up this week or go down this week, depending on what's passed and what's not passed, right? So in my mind, I'm thinking they're going to get this done, right? They're going to figure out some way. Of course, I don't think that the package is going to be $3 trillion. They're already talking about reducing that as far as the spend limit. And then as far as the bipartisan, I think, that's definitely going to get passed. I think that's going to get approved, without doubt. But as far as the size of the package and what, the size of the money that's going to, as far as EV or going towards, carbon capture or things like that, what percentage is going to that is going to be major. And that's what a lot of people are going to look at, once this bill is passed. For me, like I'm saying, I'm really focused on, the EV side of things, also on the, when you're looking at the package, broadband, broadband is major. For me, I like broadband because when you're looking at, they're getting into rural areas that don't have broadband, and some of broadband's companies and stocks are very cheap right now. And broadband isn't as big as you would think it would be. It's a lot of rural areas. As I'm pretty sure you're aware, if you're from America, there's a lot of rural areas that don't have broadband, don't have internet access. So that's something that I think is going to play a major role. And a lot of those stocks are going to, go up and up, just, revolving that. So that's something that I'm keeping my eye out on. That's what I want you all to, keep your eye out on. Start doing your research on some of those broadband companies. I actually have an episode about broadband companies. So go check that episode out. And, do some of your research on some of those stocks that I referred to in that episode, because I think that's going to be very big right now. That's one of the, industries that's been lagging behind, hasn't really made a big jump since, Corona's hit, things like that. But since the market's crashed, not really crashed, but went down in March in 2020. So that's something that I'm really focused on because, like I said, things are cheap there. It's a good entry point to get into. And this week alone, it's a good play, just to play this week and going into the week after next. It's a good play to get into right now because it's very early. So that's one of the fields that I want you all to focus on. But like I also said, EV is another industry that I'm really, I'm excited about, right? There's so many different names, so many different companies that's now talking about EV. It's now talking about, getting into battery technology. There's so many different things that you can look into, not just, the Teslas or the Fords or, the big names. There's many other names. Blink Charging is one of them. Those type of things, battery producing companies, Romo Power, another company. Those things are very great for the market. They're gonna, help keep the market up afloat during these bear. Like I say, I call this a bear market. So during these bear market times, those things are going to keep the entire market afloat, because they're going to continue to rise up and rise up and rise up, while those other main players within the market are going to be dropping due to like I said, a lot of outlier factors that's plays into the market, as far as weather or health, coronavirus, things like that. Those things do play a major role when you're looking into the market, and I think they're going to continue to play a role until we go back to the normal way of living, right? Until that's back to that way, you're going to continue to see these things change and affect the market and play big major roles within the market, and the way the market is going to go up and down for the foreseeable future. So that's something that I would tell you all to keep your eye out on. Be mindful of those things, because those things are very important within this package. Like I said, this week alone is very big on infrastructure package, because that's what everybody's eyes is on right now, and everything that's centered around the infrastructure package and the spending bill, things like that. Those things are going to be, all eyes on. A lot of stocks are going to be going up and down. So the stocks that's not really, within those packages, I feel like they're just going to, ride the wave, go up and down, drop 10, 20 cent, go up 10, 20 cent. But they're not really going to be going up and down, because they're not going to have the volume, right? A lot of people don't understand the way stocks move. Is they have a lot of volume within them. They're going to go up, right? And then once that volume is taken away, volume dries up, nobody's buying, nobody's selling. It just goes down, down, down until you reach that, that middle ground where people are now willing to buy the stock, or now people are willing to sell the stock at that price. So that's something that, I tell people to look at whether you're within any stock, any industry. Look at the volume around it. If the volume is high, be cautious, because those type of stocks are very volatile, and they're going to go up and then go down. They're going to go up and go down. And a lot of people don't understand that, especially when you're new in the market or you're new to trading. You really don't understand. Look at the volume, look at the market cap, look at things like that. That's one of the easy things that can help you. If you're a new trader, that's one of the easy things you can look at and kind of guide yourself on. Do I want to enter this stock, or do I want to wait for a pullback, wait for the volume to dry up and the stock to go down, and then I enter it, then find me an entry there. That's the best way to move forward when you're looking into trading and investing, because you definitely don't want to get into anything when it's at its peak, because now you're in trouble, because then once it drops, you got into it at its peak, and now it's dropped down, and now you're panicking. And like I always say, panic money is nothing to play with. You don't want any panic money in your wallet, because that's something that you're going to lose very, very quick. So be mindful of that when you're trading. Do not look into anything that has high volume, unless you're willing to, risk it or get in and get out type of deal. And as I always say, this isn't any financial advice or trading advice, because that's not what I'm doing on this channel. That's just my trading techniques and what I do and what I feel is the best way, because right now, just looking into the market, like I always tell people, the market is not the great, it's not in best shape, because it's so high. A lot of things are very overpriced right now. So you're going to see, continue to see those dips in the market until it finds that level ground where, a lot of people are buying and selling, and it stays in that even ground. Until then, you're going to see your spikes, you're going to see it go up, and you're going to see it go down, see it go up, and it's going to be a roller coaster ride. So you just got to, find that middle ground, find a good entry point. That way you're not in it at its peak, as I always say. But yeah, when I wanted to focus on, like I said, was the infrastructure bill. That's one of the things that you all have to keep your mind on. Just go look at it, go dig into it, go dig into those stocks that, revolve around it. And another thing I wanted to talk about in this episode was a stock called CEI. And that is amazing, right? Canberra's Energy, they went from 40, 50 cent about 2-3 weeks ago, and now it's at 2 to 220, right? And a lot of people was asking me, I posted on my Instagram, as far as my entry point when I got in, which was around 60 cent, 67 cent, and then I also bought more around 90 cent, and I bought a couple of more like around 120, 130 because I knew, for me, my price target was more around, like the $3 to $4 range. But it can easily go to 5 and easily go to 10. A lot of people are yelling out 5, 10, 20, 30. It can easily jump, because the volume, right? That's another stock that, is centered around the volume right now. But also it is a good company. It has good things going for it. But it's also in the oil industry. And that's something that I, try to, stay away from right now because I understand where we're going as a world. We're trying to shy away from that. And they're in the carbon capture business as well. So, when you think about carbon capture, they're looking into, okay, we have, a lot of emissions being pushed out. You're running gas cars, a lot of bad carbons being pushed out.